Hi guys, welcome back or welcome if you're new. My name is Tiana and I'm the maker behind Also Stitched, and today we have another weekly makes video, all in preparation for my biggest Comic-Con and gaming convention here in Sydney. I'm not gonna lie, this was the week I was least productive. It was that time of month and usually I'm just not feeling myself, and it lasts usually a week, and that was this week. And I know I will regret this because we are only a couple of weeks away from Supernova, but there's nothing I can do. I will try to work more for the next couple of weeks. I will have a good selection. I'm happy with what I have and I'm happy with all what I am planning to achieve. The reason I'm sitting like this time because I'm gonna talk about my yarn stash. In last video I mentioned that I sorted out my yarn solution in the hallway, which if you have been following me, I have shared that a couple of times, even during my vlogmas and in a couple of videos. I have shared the situation with my yarn, which is in like bins, boxes, and it was annoying shuffling those bins and boxes a couple of times a day and actually not seeing the yarn. So I will be sharing that, but before we go into my yarn storage, I'm gonna share what I make this week. It's not a lot, but still it counts towards my inventory and I'm happy with what I did. I don't have the numbers because I'm first time sitting here without my laptop. I usually have my laptop here with the numbers and everything. I just wasn't feeling it and I'm not prepared for this video, so we'll just run with it. Since I did that yarn organization, I could finally see everything that I have in my stash, and that has inspired me to actually work through my yarn. My goal was to pick up a full skein and work through it until it's done, and I have been very successful with that. One of those skeins are this Yarn Smith's Flurry yarn, which is this, like, it has a bit of texture. It is a nice yarn, not my favorite. I don't see myself actually repurchasing this yarn. My goal was to work through a stash and get rid of it. So I had this light brown and dark brown, and I went with my best sellers, which are capybaras. These are capybaras by Crochet Code AU. I really love them. They are such a quick make. They take me less than half an hour. They are my favorite. They have been selling so good, and I will be raising prices. I talked about that in my last video. Everything for Supernova, I will be raising prices, and these are gonna be $30, Australian dollars. So usually when I'm working with this yarn, I'm double stranding it because it is very thin, and then I'm doing it on a 6mm hook, and it works really fine. And I think I had 2 skeins and I was double stranding them. I got 5 of them. Exactly 5 of them. I have 0 leftovers. So out of 2 double-stranded skeins, I got 5 capybaras. These are gonna be a bit different. I'm still gonna have my regular ones that I do out of Alice Veluto, but I just wanna destash this yarn, so these are gonna be different. Let me just find the smallest one because I could definitely see, look at the size difference, just in tension when you are crocheting over a couple of days and your tension changes. Look at the size difference of these two. This one is so much smaller than this one. It could be the tension, it could be the stuffing. I think this one is a bit less stuffed, but still, I'm still gonna price them the same. They're still gonna be $30, and yeah, that's it. I do plan on having more. My goal was to have at least 10 of capybaras because they are my best sellers, and I do wanna have more of those. And then after capybaras, after I've noticed that yarn and I was inspired with the yarn to destash it, I found this yarn. This is Honey Bunny Christmas range. I do have this yarn also in Candy range, which is with like pink, blue, different specs. These specs are more in like Christmas range specs. The other specs were like candy specs, more like these ones. Okay, so I was inspired with this yarn and I wanted a new pattern to help me destash this yarn because I had a full skein of this green and the black one, and I decided I need some frogs. I haven't done frogs in a very long time. I only have been doing frogs like mini leggy froggies, and I've been doing cable and canvas frog that comes on a mushroom that pops up, but also in the pattern there is a variation for you to do that without frog popping. It could be just a standalone frog, and I was tired of those, so I went on Etsy, and I think this one is very trending probably on Etsy because this one was the first one to pop up, and I've seen people making this, and I was like, I'm just gonna go with this. It looks cute, it's different, and it's fun. And let me tell you, I went crazy with this frog just because I love the pattern. And it is Reggie the Frog by Vask Boutique Shop on Etsy. I know this is not new pattern, I know it's been very trending and popular, but I just couldn't. It is so cute, it was so quick to make. Compared to capybaras, once you're done with this, you're done, and that is the best feeling. Here I still have to embroider face and do the orange on top. Those are the things that I tend to procrastinate. I usually make all of the capybaras and then I do all of the embroidery, all of the orange sleeves and things like that. But with this one, once you close off, you're done, and that is the best feeling. So since I was destashing this green yarn, it is very nice yarn. It is fun yarn and I loved it. I also decided to destash the white part, which is again from this Flurry yarn from Yarn Smiths. Yarn Smiths is Wool Warehouse in-house brand. So I was like, I'm just gonna destash this yarn too. I know frogs are not fluffy or anything like that. They are like slippery and yucky, but I think it looks fun. I think it is different. I did better eyes on all of them. They all have 16 mil sinker eyes, and I do think this is cute. I love the feet. I love how different looking this frog is to any other. And look at the legs. You actually have the proper front and back ties or whatever you wanna, whatever that is on frog. I love this frog. This was such a fun make, and I completely destashed the yarn. So out of the green one, I managed to get 4 of them. So I have 4 green frogs, and I'm completely out of the yarn, and that was actually my goal. Once I took out the skein from the shelf, it's not going back on the shelf. And then with the black yarn, I got 4 black frogs. So I'm just gonna show you it's 4, but let me do the close-up because this one is so fun looking. So I just went with the orange belly part and that black speckled, and it's so cool. When my husband saw this one, he said these are really funky and I feel like this one gonna sell, and I'm like, I hope so. So my goal for these, I think I've put down price to 25, but I'm thinking I could easily maybe go 28. I'll decide that when I have all of my new plushie makes out at the same time so that I can just compare the size. 25, I wouldn't mind 25 because these literally took me 30 minutes. They're so quick to make, so $25 for 30 minutes work is not too bad. So I wouldn't mind charging $25 for these, and like I said, I have 4 of the black ones. In total I have 8 frogs, which is amazing. This was really fun pattern and I would like to make more. I did these on 5.5 mil hook just because this is the same size as my Hobby Toucan, and I usually do that one on 5 mil hook, but with these specs, this yarn runs a bit thicker just because these specs are an extra layer on the yarn. It is a thin thread with these specs, so it does add a bit to the thickness, and I was comfortable to go to 5.5. And when it comes to belly, this yarn I usually do on 6 mil, so I was completely fine. And this part is Hobby Toucan yarn. You can see a bit holes in there because it's definitely too big of a hook for that, and I did overstuff. I do overstuff my plushes, so that's why some of the holes are showing more than they should, but oh well, I'm not too fussed about it. I think they look cool and funky and I feel like they will sell. In case these things don't sell, guys, these are so easy for me to put in my big mystery boxes. My big mystery boxes I sell for 20, and I honestly wouldn't mind putting this in a mystery box for $20 because, like I said, half an hour make, I mean, amazing. And I did some embroidery, not a lot. I did repeat my Darth Vader in the black colorway, and here is the gray one. I did last week, and I do agree black one looks so much better. I don't know the numbers. I think I did 3 of Darth Vader because I don't have my laptop here, so I won't be able to tell you how much of each I did. I have repeated Mew. She was selling good last time. Same with Jigglypuff. And then I did this Pokemon. Don't quote me on his name. I think it is some butt. I'm not sure what it is. I forgot to check the names before I started filming this. It is something but I don't know. I did only 2 of these because I'm not sure how popular this guy is. I even asked my kids, do you know this character, and they said no, so we'll see. And then I did Vaporeon, and this was my first one, and I wasn't totally happy because usually when it comes to my embroidery, I redigitize all of the files that I buy just because I want to make them simple for myself. I usually lower the stitch count on all the parts because some of these can have a very heavy stitch out, and I just don't have time and patience for such a small project to have such a heavy stitch out. And another thing that takes time is finding the colors. What my computer is showing me, it looks completely different to what they look in a real life, and then it looks completely different when it's stitched out because it also depends on the background. And this being blue, this color wasn't showing properly, so I changed it to the yellow, and this is the better looking Vaporeon, so I'm gonna continue making them like this. So this is the only crochet and embroidery for this week. It wasn't a lot, it was pretty mindless. I have to admit both of these patterns were very easy and mindless, and that's why I didn't mind making multiples of them even though I wasn't feeling like crocheting. So all in all, I'm really happy with everything that I did, even though it's not a lot, but I am really happy. And now I'm gonna show you my yarn storage on the outside, but before that I'm gonna walk you through what I have here. So on this shelf is all my hobby toucan yarn, and at the moment I have 90 skeins here. Some of them are here in this cupboard, and this cupboard in total holds 96 skeins. This is Billy Bookcase, but just the half of the Billy Bookcase. It's one door Billy Bookcase from Ikea. And for the outside, I bought 2 double Billy Bookcases, but without the doors, because I'm still deciding which style of doors I want to. Because what I have on the outside, my plan is to eventually have here on the inside. I could fit those 2 Billy Bookcases here once I get rid of this situation and my machine. So my goal was to work through the yarn so that I can fit everything in 2.5 Billy Bookcases, and that is it. That is how much yarn I want to have in my stash, and that is both for crochet and knitting. I don't want more yarn. I was contemplating buying 3rd Billy Bookcase just so I can organize this better, but I said no because I can't fit them in this room, and I don't want a yarn in my hallway. I want everything to be able to fit in this room, and that's it. I'm not buying more storage to fit yarn. I need to destash my yarn to fit it in the cupboards that I already have. So like I said, this is my hobby toucan. I've been working through this for the past year. I bought all of this last year when the hobby said they are no longer gonna ship to Australia, and I still have 90 skeins in stash. And then on the bottom is all my Elise Velluto, plus here. All of here are the colors, single colors that I have visual of what I have, and the multiples are here. When it comes to Elise Velluto, I have still 70 skeins in stash, and I know all of this because I have my yarn in my spreadsheet, so I know exactly how much yarn I have. And I bought 100 skeins last year. So it took me almost a year to work through 30 skeins with everything else that I have. Like, I do have a lot. It's a lot for me, maybe not for you, but for me it's a lot. And here are some of my wound skeins that are half skeins, same here, and these are my eyes. Everything rest is printer and nothing to do with yarn. So my goal is actually to work through this to be able to fit it in that cupboard. How? I'm not sure yet because the cupboards are full to the brim and I literally have no space in those cupboards. But my goal is to fit everything in those cupboards. So I am not buying yarn at all for the next, I have to say year or two, because honestly, if I have been working through this most for the year and I've only worked through maybe 70, 80 skeins in a year, plus everything else that I've been working, this is a very long process to work through all of this yarn. And Hobby is no longer available to us, so I'm replacing Hobby probably with Yarn Smith's chunky, what is it called, chenille chunky yarn, because it is the cheapest one that I can get. I'm a cheap girl, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not paying $8 or $9 for a skein. If I can get it for $6, that's what I will be buying. Same with Elise Velluto. I paid my Elise Velluto $6.40 or $6.20 maybe. And I didn't buy from Hobby Shopping like everyone is buying here in Australia. I bought from Hobbinis Yarns because it is cheaper than Hobby Shopping. I'm not sure why is everyone buying from Hobby Shopping, but Hobbinis Yarn at a time when I was buying was the cheapest one. And I haven't checked, it's been a year, so I still haven't checked if it's still the cheapest, but oh well. If you are in Australia and wondering where to buy Elise Velluto, you have two options, Hobby Shopping and Hobbinis Yarn. So go and check which one is cheaper, because Hobbinis Yarns offers 20% off your first purchase. I am running low on some colors, but I'm not stressing about that. So that is my situation in my room, plus the cupboard at the back. I'm not using colors in the cupboard at the moment because they are just single skeins that are showing me what I have in stash, and I'm gonna show you up close. Here is my yarn stash in this cupboard. On the top we have some acrylic yarn plus some Hobby Toucan. These two are Elise Velluto. Next two cupboards are Hobby Toucan. Those are the all colors I have in stash. And two bottom cupboards are my acrylic yarn. This used to be a huge stash, but if you have watched me last year, I was working through my stash knitting beanies, and this used to be 2 cubes. Now it's only 1. This is what I was using most for my beanies. That is Marvel 8 ply and this is Marvel 10 ply. So yeah, this is all I have in this cupboard, and this is just the half of the cupboard that I have bought for my hallway. Let's go to my hallway so I can show you the situation there. Well, this is the best that I can show you for now. I will be also moving around so that I can show you everything up close. I will also insert a photo of what it looked like before. It was just in the bins, and now I have 2 cupboards. Like I mentioned, this is Billy Bookcase, just without the doors. My initial goal was to have half doors, so there is an option for like half wood, half glass, or full wood or full glass. I do prefer half just because the bottom is not the nicest, and I will walk you through the bottom with what I have at the bottom. Let's go with the first cupboard and the top part. This is all mill ends, so all of these is just my mill ends. This is very narrow hallway, so I'm struggling, as you can tell, and it goes all the way down. So this is all just the mill ends. You can see some of them are still in plastic bags because I can't be bothered to put them out. I think this would use up less space if I were to wound these, but I just wasn't in the mood. I don't have time to wound my skeins at the moment while I'm prepping for Supernova, but this is what it is. This is mill ends, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 full shelves just with mill ends. And I kind of organized them in some colors, and yeah, that's it. That's my mill ends. On the bottom we have my cotton yarn. I've been knitting a blanket last year out of this cotton for charity, and technically I can make another 4 blankets. I have plans to put this cotton in my closet in my room once I could reach that closet, because it's not the most reachable space. So once I shuffle things around my room, I think that's gonna go into the closet. All of here are my knitting projects. I store my knits in a Ziploc bags, and they're all separated per project. So one of these bags is one of the projects. This one is the acrylic one that I bought thinking I'm gonna make Granny Square something, but ever since I have started knitting, I don't see myself crocheting a garment because knits are so much different and so much better, at least for me. On the bottom, I have boxes just because I need some better storage organization solutions. So yeah, I do have some boxes, and they are also full of knitting yarn. Some of these are my scrap yarns, some of these are my full yarns, and they are all organized. I know what it is in it. It's mostly sock yarn and things like that, but everything makes sense for me. So this is all just one cupboard. And I can't even explain how happy I am just to come here and be able to see all of these colors and get inspired very easily to choose what I want to crochet and de-stash and work through. So yeah, I'm really happy with all of this, and it does make a huge difference. The color organization is not the best, but it works for me, and I had to figure it out how to push everything in. Some of these things are really pushed in just so I can fit them, but oh well. Okay, let's go with this side way of hallway, which you can't even see, there's more on top, but I want to explain this. Yes, I have still one bin here because this bin has, I'm gonna open it later, it has all my acrylic yarn. Initially I had that over here. I managed to put it out, but then I realized that this shelf is what I want to de-stash the most, and I need to be able to see it. So that's why I've put my acrylic into the bin, and I will sort that later. I think that bin can also go in that closet when I can reach that closet. And as you can tell, I have one skein that I couldn't fit anywhere, but it will fit eventually. This is my Ikea, the biggest plushie that I have ever crocheted. It is in a bag. It is essentially my daughter's one, but until Supernova, I don't want it to be out in a dust, so I'm keeping it in a bag. Bag is kind of folded, so it's not getting dusty until Supernova. If it sells, fine. If it's not, it's hers, and it's gonna go into her room. Let's now go with this second Billy bookcase shelf. As you can tell, this makes sense for me. I'm gonna go up close to show you what it is actually. Top shelf is Bernat blanket, like original Bernat blanket. I've been working through it this week. A couple of skeins are missing. For example, this one is very bad. This one is very bad, same as this one. All of the other ones are really nice and soft. Some are softer than the others, but oh well. If you have been watching me, then you know that all of these Bernat, plus I had more. I had like a ton of it. I bought this for $3 Australian per skein. That was a bargain. That was, I'm not sure if it was a glitch on Hobby or they actually really decided to reduce the price. It was only $2 USD, so yes, I went crazy. I bought all of these, plus I think it was double this when it arrived, so I've been working through this a lot. Below that we have a bit of mishmash because I couldn't fit everything. So these are my Parfait XXL. I bought this last year and I wanted to make Chunkymons, like the original Pokemon's pattern called Chunkymons. And as you can tell, the only one I was making was Gengar, and he was selling really good. I have enough yarn to make only one, and this was supposed to be Eevee, this was supposed to be Bulbasaur, and I think this was supposed to be Totoro. So my goal is actually to work through this before Supernova and de-stash this yarn and make what this was actually intended for, because I don't want to buy any more Parfait XXL. It is a very nice yarn to work with, but it is shedding more than any other chenille yarn, and I just don't like it. It is hard to combine this level of thickness with any other yarn. When you look at this, this is Modavira Blanky yarn. This is the thickest yarn that you can get here in Australia, and this is even thicker than that. So look at the size difference. So like I said, this is Modavira Blanky yarn, except for this one. This one was maybe valuable, that glitter. It was a nice yarn. And we also have more of the Rainbow Blanky yarn here. I think these are value balls or something like that. Same with this color that I cannot fit in. And there is more at the back. So behind this, there is more. I think there is orange, this orange here, because yeah, you can see I have 3 skeins of that orange. So this is really pushed in there is, like I said, more in the back. It is not just the single layer. After that, we have another shelf of Moda Vera blanket yarn. Some of these colors are discontinued now. I know this one is discontinued, this one, and all of these. I still have them in stash. I do love Moda Vera blanket yarn, but it's really hard on my hands, so I can only work a little, and I don't tend to be inspired by it a lot, so we'll see. I don't mind having it in stash. Like I said, it works really well with Snug as a Bug from Wool Warehouse, and Snug as a Bug is even softer than Moda Vera blanket yarn. But it is a good yarn if you want to make a big plushies, and it is very good to sew with. And yeah, I still love using this yarn. I just have to space it between other projects because it's heavy on my hands. Okay, so this shelf is what I've been working through this week. This is like a mishmash of all the different yarns that I have in my stash, and I really don't want to have them. Like I showed you, flurry yarn. This is the leftover of the brown from the capybara, and I have all of these. There is more at the back. As you can see, that pink, that is value ball. This is all value ball from Spotlight. This yarn is so bad. I can't even tell you how bad this yarn is, and I bought a lot. Like I said, there is more at the back, and I want to work through this. This is from Hobby. It is either Hobby Honey Bunny, Hobby Snug, I don't know what is their Snug something called. I don't like it. Out of Hobby yarns, Toucan was the best for me, and I stick with it. I can no longer get it. This is all the new yarns. I'm not working through this. This is Yarn Smith's chenille yarn. This is just the colors that I was running low in my Hobby Toucan stash, so that's why I bought this. So this is just my backstock. This is not something I need to work through. This is what I want to work through. And like I mentioned, that frogs that I did, you see, these are the same green color but in a candy color. I might make more of those frogs if they sell, because they only take half an hour. So if I notice on Friday or Saturday at Supernova that they're selling really good, I can easily make them. And maybe I could make them in a gray, because I really need to destash. My goal is to get rid of all of this completely, and then maybe I will be able to fit some of my Hobby Toucan here, and especially when I get rid of that Parfait XXL. And yeah, my goal is for the next year really working through my stash and destashing this yarn, and then buying just the yarns that I really want to have in my stash, that I really love to work with, like chenille yarn, some blankets yarn. I do love working with Bernat blanket yarn. It is very soft compared to Moda Vera blanket yarn. For the past week, I've been working a lot with original Bernat blanket, and it is so soft and so nice to work with. So yeah. And down we only have another 2 shelves. As you can see, they are all packaged. That is my knitting yarn. Everything is packaged as per project, so each one of these bags is essentially 1 sweater quantity and my future projects that I have plans for. So yeah, the bottom part is either leftovers or some small projects, like a random small yarns that I bought for some projects. So yeah, in the bottom boxes are again my sock yarn, and that is actually it. This is all I have when it comes to these 2 cupboards. And let me just quickly show you what I have in this bin. This is all the yarn that I went crazy and bought last year when Spotlight has a huge sale on all of this yarn. This is the one that I'm working on my daughter's blanket. I think I have another 9 or 10 skeins of this color, which I don't think it's all gonna go into blanket, but for me, I'm not getting rid of this. I'm not in a rush to get rid of this. I actually made a knitted beanie out of this, and it looks so beautiful. I'm really impressed with how this yarn looks in knitted beanie. These are potential future blankets or whatever. It was very cheap, and when it comes to this yarn, I love to work with this yarn for a gift. Is it gonna be a gift knit blanket or gift crochet blanket or whatever it's gonna be for charities? I can easily come to this yarn because it was fairly cheap, and it's really a good quality acrylic yarn for charity and things like that. So I have 0 plans or 0 rush to work through this bin because it is just the acrylic yarn. It can stay It can last for a couple of years. It's gonna be future blankets, either for gifts or for charity, or maybe for me. I really do love this color and I do see myself making a blanket maybe for a gift or for me. We will see. It is a beautiful yarn. It was a bargain sale. Each of these skeins costed only $5 Australian, which is around $3 US. And yeah, if you know, these cakes can go very, very expensive. So I'm really happy to have this in my stash without rush to work through this. And that is all, guys. Like I said, my goal is to work through this and to be able to put these cupboards on the other side of the wall, because that's exactly how they're gonna fit on the other side of the wall. Here I could have fit third one, but I was no. There's no way I'm buying more cabinets to buy more yarn. No way. I need to work through my yarn to this stash and stick to the brands that I really love and that I really like, and stop buying and exploring and essentially over consuming. I don't need this much yarn. I have 1 or 2 brands that I really love to work with and that I want to stick with. And that is it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like my little yarn stash tour and what I have in my stash, what I'm working with. And stay tuned for my next video, because we are continuing with a lot of characters for this Supernova convention and I'm looking forward to share all of that with you. I have a lot of free patterns to show you and some bought ones, so yeah, stay tuned for the next week's video. With all of that, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy crafting!